if you own AMC stock now and you are feeling a little bit, you feel a little bit or a lot disappointed based on the price action on the last 6 months, all right? Because since we hit 50, all right, we've been going down and now we're trading on the 15s. And you're asking, well, was it really a good play? Was it really, something that I should have done? Is it going to do what it's supposed to do? You're asking yourselves all of these questions. Let me help you out a little bit and kind of clarify, the direction where this thing is possibly going. All right. Now, the thing is, as I mentioned many times now, AMC is part of the market. And lately, the market has been puking on what is happening over in Europe, Russia, between Ukraine, all right? And also inflation. And now we're talking about recession or stagflation or whatever. But there is no break here that we're catching because we are constantly battling with something that may risk the money you have invested in the market. It doesn't matter which stock it is. Now, for AMC in particular, the thing is, no crisis, as I mentioned earlier, will stay forever. No crisis is going to stay forever. It's going to be temporary. But when you look at what the tech sectors, for example, has been doing lately, every day, every single day, we have a red day. You can check the NASDAQ. It's the most hit among the 3 indexes in the US, between the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones, the main 3, the big ones, all right? So what that means is with the market dropping, it also impacts a lot of the positions in terms of value that the short sellers have. If you look at what is happening in China with Evergrande, if you look at now what is happening with the Russian bonds, if you look at everything happening in the commodities space, energy, nickel, wheat, natural gas, etc., it is putting the short sellers in a lot of pressure. I mean, just look at what happened to Melvin Capital. The rumor has that he's been investing hundreds of millions of dollars in nickel before the price started soaring 250%. So the guy is caught again. So I wouldn't wonder if there are other short sellers, even in AMC, that got burned on those plays. So there is the market dropping, not helping them with the valuation, not helping them with, the amount of money they already have. But on top of that, it's also causing them pressure, putting additional pressure into the collateral, the assets that they're using in order to sustain and to continue to have the liquidity providers, the brokers, if you will, to let them be that short in the market and in the stock. All right. So what is causing that? When you look at the utilization rate, which is at 100%, it means they are using, technically, they're using pretty much all the shares available. So if they're doing that in the midst of this current market, this is a good recipe. This is a perfect recipe for a disaster in terms of margin calls. And we have seen that happen since this whole thing with Russia started. Because when markets tend to go down, especially the tech stocks that they love, margin calls are the next. That's why Credit Suisse and other big banks started warning the clients that, hey, it's now time to make sure that you have your house in order, because if you don't, Uncle Marge is going to start knocking. And when that happens, you know that it's time to get out. And when that happens, you know that it's time for moon time. So just to give you a little bit of perspective, all right, in what is happening here. So if you feel disappointed again, just know that you have to be just a little bit more patient. Just a little more patient that you thought it will take time and the reversal will come. But the thing is, it will come at a point where no one is even talking and waiting for it to happen. Remember June of last year? Nobody was expecting this to go from 16 to 25 and from 25 to $70 a share. Nobody, because you cannot just predict the future. But the reality is, because everything is lining up in this market, for them to be hurt and to bleed completely and to be forced to cover, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Again, it's just a matter of when, not a matter of if. We've seen that many times now since this whole thing started, since the whole year started. So nobody will see this coming, but when it starts coming, everybody will know.